Hi everyone, welcome back to Ladies of Lavender. Thank you so much for joining me today. Really quickly, make sure to subscribe and like to join the Ladies of Lavender family. So for today's episode of Let's Talk About It, we're going to talk about pads. Alright, so first let's kind of talk about what a pad is. So pads are one of the most popular feminine products out there. Most girls favor pads because they're really easy to use and they aren't as scary as tampons can be. If you're interested in learning more about tampons, make sure to check out our other Let's Talk About It video. So what's really important when thinking about what pad you're going to buy are the types. So the sizes that you can buy are maxi, ultra thin, wingless, and cloth pads. We won't get too much into cloth pads because that's a whole separate video subject, but don't worry, we're going to touch on it in a later video. So maxi pads are a really good option if you have a heavier flow. They last longer and they have better protection. Ultra thin is probably one of the most popular types of pads. What I always found really interesting was that there's no in between. You can either get maxi or ultra thin. I always thought that was a little weird. They should probably have an in-between size, but that's just my opinion. So this is how thin an ultra thin pad is. You can kind of tell they're pretty thin. If you think you have a heavier flow, you might want to try a maxi pad first and then start to get into ultra thin just to see what you need, because you definitely don't want to leak or anything because that's just not fun. So another thing that you want to think about when you're deciding what kind of pad that you want is the fact that some pads have wings and others don't. So when I say the word wings, I mean the two sticky flaps that kind of extend from the pad and you wrap them underneath your underwear. So I favor this more because it kind of keeps the pad in place and doesn't allow it to move. But if you're someone who doesn't really care or maybe has a really light flow and doesn't need that extra protection, maybe you don't need wings. So if you're someone who kind of has like a heavier but not super heavy, go for the wings because that'll give you that extra protection and security and relieve some of that anxiety. Okay, and the last type of pad are the cloth pads. So these are really good if you're thinking about going eco-friendly or you're eco-conscious. So the reason why I included cloth pads is because they are becoming so popular now. Not only are these cloth pads eco-friendly, but they're also reusable. That way you save money and you don't have to constantly dispose of the period products that you use every day. So if you're kind of interested in cloth pads, make sure to go look them up. There's some really great companies that I'll mention later in the video, so make sure to go look them up. They're amazing. I am definitely going to look into them myself.
Everyone's lining up to see it.
Another thing that's really important when purchasing a pad is the size. So just like tampons, pads have numerous sizes that go along with the pads. And the sizes depend on your flow. When I say flow, I mean how heavy your period is on a day-to-day basis. So pads have an absorbency scale from 1 to 5. So 4 and 5 are more of like a nighttime pad. They're usually what a lot of girls like to wear at night because they're very long and they protect your backside so you don't have to worry about accidentally leaking while you're asleep. This also goes for maxi pads. Maxi pads also have the same sizes, and the sizes also depend on how long you want your pad to be. So usually when girls have a heavier flow, they want a longer pad so they have that extra protection. It's the same case for maxi. So you'll have a regular maxi, a super maxi, and that's what I have in the ultra thin. And then you have, I think you have your super plus or maybe your super long. Oh yeah, okay, so I have it here. So the maxis will come in just like the ultra thin, they come in a regular, a long super, an extra long super, overnight, and extra heavy overnight. So these sizes are the same for ultra thin and maxi, as well as wingless and wing. So regular is probably the perfect size if you're a beginner or if you just started your period. And the other really cool thing about Always, which is the pads that I'm referencing in this video, they also have colors that indicate which size they are, so just to make it easier. So as you can kind of see here, you have the regular, the long super, the extra long super, the overnight, and the extra heavy overnight. So they have the corresponding colors, which is really helpful if you just want to run into a store and grab some pads, you know exactly what color you are. So during my 8th grade year, I was a little bit insecure about my period, and I was really worried about leaking and stuff like that. So I would wear an orange overnight ultra thin pad that I would usually wear at night, but I would wear it during the day so I would have that extra protection on my backside. I would really recommend this to you if you're having some kind of period anxiety. This will definitely help ease that. So if you're still a little bit unsure of what size you are for pads, Always has this really awesome quiz that you can take online. It has a few simple questions, and then the website will average what size they think you are. And don't worry, you can always buy a small package of pads. This one is really small. It only has 16 pads in it. You can also get really big packs. So if you're really not sure, take the quiz and then get the recommended size, maybe in a small pack. Try it out for a week, and if you really don't like it, make sure to size up or size down. So next, let's talk about brands. So brands are also really important when thinking about what pad you want. The brand that I've been mentioning throughout this video is Always. I've always used Always. I know it's a really popular brand, and a lot of girls use this brand and trust this brand. So the next company that's really popular is Kotex. So Kotex has more fun pads. They have a line for teenage girls that's really popular. Not that you necessarily need to buy them if you're a teenager. Always pads are probably the same to these teenage sized pads, but do whatever makes you happy and makes you excited for your period. Another brand that's popular is Stay Free. They have the same kind of pads that Always does, and I'm pretty sure they're a little bit cheaper, so if you don't necessarily want to splurge on pads, make sure to check out that brand. The thing that I really suggest doing is buying store brands. Let me make this clear, you do not have to buy main brand pads. Because I mean, they're cheaper and they work the same, they're reliable, so if you are in a situation where you can't necessarily splurge on pads or spend $8 on pads, then make sure to check out the store brands because they work just the same. So for cloth pads, some of the companies that I would definitely recommend are Glad Rags and Luna Pads. These are two really great cloth pad companies, and I would definitely recommend for you to go look up the websites and check out the pads. I know that Glad Rags has a deal where you buy a pack of like 3 pads and you get like $10 off your order, so make sure to go check that out too if you're interested. Hey guys, so it's really easy to put on a pad. All you're going to want to do is take the pad out of the wrapping and stick it as close to the center of your underwear as possible. You might want to move it more to the back. It's however you want to put it. And then you want to stick it down really well and then fold the wings over the side of the underwear to make sure the pad sticks in place. And finally, make sure to secure it by sticking it down one last time, and you're good to go. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped some of you. And make sure if you're watching this video with maybe your sister or your brother or your parents to check out the discussion guide we have down below in the description box. Our hope is that these discussion guides really help everyone open up to be able to talk more about periods. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Ladies of Lavender family. Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Ladies of Lavender. We post every week and we give information about upcoming drives and stuff like that, so make sure to go follow us. If you have any questions about today's video or any period related questions in general, you can DM us on Instagram or you can email us at ladiesoflavender20@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. Alright, I'll see you guys next week.
Oh, my